Hello, my name is Desmond Lynch. I'm 26 years old and I'm a filmmaker. This is a special behind-the-scenes audio commentary episode on the production of my short film, SHOWTIME. In this episode, I am interviewing actor and comedian Seán McConville, who plays Kenny, the supporting character of the short film. Without further ado, let's begin. Hello, my name is Desmond Lynch. I'm 26 years old and I'm a filmmaker. Today I have a very special guest, which leads me into our first question. Who are you and what do you do?
Hi, my name's Seán McConville. I'm 23 years old. I'm mostly a writer and kind of a bit of an actor, and I make my own films and occasionally act in other people's films, and yeah. That's me.
That's good. I'm very lucky that this is an audio thing, because you should have seen the look that Seán gave when I said I'm 26 years old. It's like, Jesus, Des. Wow. Terrible.
Yeah, fuck, I never knew you were... Oh, sorry, I can't swear in this, can I?
No, you can swear. You can swear all you like.
Yeah, I never knew you were 26. Man.
Yeah, I look far older, don't I?
Yeah, exactly. The beard can make it more confusing, because it can be like... You think someone looks older with a beard, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. I do get a baby face whenever I shave, so yeah, it takes some years off me. So moving on to the anecdote to make it seem like we're friends and that we like each other. So yeah, I was thinking back to when we first met. I think we met on the Unholy Lands. You were I was the sound guy, and then you were one of the extras. For those who saw, Seán is the titular balloon guy.
Yeah.
I think that shot got cut as well, unfortunately, but
No, it didn't get cut. It was in the thing.
Oh, that's good. That's
because I saw it specific. Because I was expecting to be cut, and then I saw it come up, and I was like, my one shot is made the final cut. You know.
Yeah, that's good. I think we were waiting on setups to be sorted out, and we were in the unit hub. I think I was setting up some sound gear, and I think you came up to me, and I was like, "Hey, do you own any of this stuff?" And we just started chatting about stuff, and I was like, yeah, sure, stuff. And I was like, what the fuck's this extra talk to me? I don't give a fuck, you know. That ass, there was 30, 40 extras in that thing, and I was like, who
the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, how dare this fucking casual just talk to me? Yeah,
Party or six is trying to talk to me, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, but you're talking about your web series and stuff like that, and it sounded fun. It was Pastor Ed, which is, do you want to explain Pastor Ed, Seán?
Yeah, it's a Northern Irish Protestant version of Father Ted. So it's called Pastor Ed and Dennis, or two Orange Order ministers, and it's pretty much just parodying a lot of Father Ted episodes. But it was a 3-part series, and yeah, we're hoping to do more with it actually as well, which has been pretty fun. But it's probably the biggest thing I've done, solo, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd say you're solely responsible for the Orange Order increasing membership, bringing awareness to the young people. So I like Pat.
People thought I was actually hired by the Orange Order. They thought it was an Orange Order production. People were like, oh, why would they make this an Orange Order version of this? And I was like, mate, it's obviously a piss. It's not on their side.
I don't know. I mean, you had some very convincing arguments there, Seán, as winning the web series.
Yeah, it's weird to me. Some people watched that and took it at face value. Do you know what I mean? Took it literally.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But yeah, no, I remember you were telling me about this, and I think you sent me the first script for the episode, and I was reading it and I was laughing, partially because it's very funny, and also because this is never gonna fucking happen. All your stuff was super ambitious. You had named politicians showing up in the gay bar and doing all this stuff, and it's for the money you want to make it. I was like, that's not gonna happen, that's not gonna happen, that's not gonna happen. I thought it would just fizzle away and nothing would happen, but I was very, because my experience, just projects like that just fizzle away. Dozens of things just fell apart for just scheduling and money and people just falling out and stuff like that. But no, you gotta fucking made, and it's very difficult to get stuff made. It you have to force it into existence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard to get it just out of your head onto the fucking there's so many. It seems like to other people, I think, whenever they look at something, that it seems quite easy. It seems quite obvious, to do. But then the actual process of getting it from your head to the page, and then from the page to the screen to the pen to the king, then it's quite hard. That was a KSI reference.
I don't know who that is. But okay.
uh, yeah, so there's so many more steps than you think, and there's so much more like even just putting the time into it really is the thing, like, or just doing the damn thing is the toughest part, I think. But yeah, no, that was something like it was definitely in my head for a long time, so I definitely wanted to like. I think at one point I was just like, okay, like if I don't do anything else, I'm releasing Past Red this year, you know?
Yeah. Anyway, enough about you, Sean. More on to me. So, third question: what made you interested in working on Showtime?
I think firstly I was kind of just like interested in what you would do. To be honest, like I'm always like trying to try new things. Like I think I'm definitely someone where I'd have to be quite busy to like turn something different on. You know, like if someone's giving me a chance to do something, even if it's not something I normally do, like I definitely just want to try. I want to help people. I want to try things out, and I was like really interested to see, just because I've always like worked with you in the capacity of like doing sound. I was just like interested to see what you'd be like as a director, you know. And I don't think I did. I didn't even really. I remember I read my parts. I hadn't really like. I hadn't. I'm just so bad at like reading scripts. So like I haven't really read the script properly until like maybe like the week of or something. So I was just kind of coming on to. I was like, you know what? Like like I'm just excited to try out this character. Like I didn't know whether it was gonna be any good or not, to be honest with you, before I turned up. Because not that I just hadn't read it. I just, do you know what I mean? Like you turn up in a lot of these things and they're quite shite. But then I turned up and like was reading the script and I was like working with the actors and I was like, oh, this is actually quite good. You know, like, you get that moment. You must have that with just like working in amateur stuff and like generally like you get that moment where like, because most of it, let's be honest, isn't like it's people
Like learning how to do it and stuff like
first
that.
time filming.
Aye.
They're not very good, you know. So when you find someone, you're like, oh, actually, like you're like, oh, this is a good, it's a well written film. This is like well directed. Like this person put a lot of effort into this and actually like, you know, is very good at it. Like it was a surprise to me, but like a nice surprise. Like not any, specifically towards you, just surprising to find like people managing to make something as good as that, you know. So I think that's a bit of a ramble, but yeah, basically I was just like just interested in seeing what it would be like, and also like I do a lot of comedy stuff as well, so doing something a little bit more dramatic just adds an extra string to your bow, like, you know. It's just seeing if I could do it.
Aye. So I think like I wrote this part, I think with you in mind mostly, cause like, you know, no harm, Sean, you do sound a wee bit posh compared to Belfast. I'm assuming like, you know, like whenever you go out to London, people are gonna be thinking you're a chav or whatever. But yeah, like no, like I thought like, you know, like the contrast between like, you know, Anya's like West Belfast accent that she did and like your South Belfast. I thought like that'd be interesting, especially because like your character is a drug addict who's addicted to spice. It's not literally set in the film what he's addicted to, but I think that's like what we based off of the symptoms and the highs and like what how to play it. But I wanted like someone who like, you know, like locals could like find like, oh, he's a wee bit posh, but he's also like, oh, he's a bit posh, but he's like still like he's not safe from like that type of thing. Like that could happen to anyone in any home or whatever. Like, you know, it doesn't matter if you're poor or you're rich or whatever. Like, you know, if you find those outlets, they will, you know, damage you and they will like change you and put you in like some circumstances that where you're not safe. Like you're not safe to be around. You're not safe for yourself, like that type of stuff. So I wanted like a character like that to do it, and also like he had like some comedy stuff. So I thought like, you know, like it is like a dramatic an uncomfortable part. Like you are just playing a drug addict living in this woman's house because her boyfriend's selling her gear. But it's also like, you know, it's that, but there's also like there has to be some humor to it because it is like such a fucking wild, crazy thing to happen where you're just like, you know, it's hard to explain, but it's like one of those things where like, oh, this is like so fucked up, I can't help but laugh type thing.
Yeah, and also I think just seeing someone like in that state, like that was what I kind of liked about the scene, is it almost could be played in multiple ways or could be just interpreted multiple ways. Like if you show it to certain people, they'll laugh, and if you show it to certain people, they'll like find it quite dramatic, you know, because like when you see people in that state, there's a part of it that's kind of funny because like they're obviously not right, they're like acting really odd. But at the same time, like it's a bit sad at the same time. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, all right, like like there's a lot of different ways to look at it, which I think was definitely like a really fun part of the acting process. Because I think weirdly I mean with comedy you can mess around quite a lot, but like there is like a certain like you're going for like a certain beat. Do you know what I mean? Like you're trying to make it funny, but it's just like what base can you make it funny? But this was something there's a bit more like it felt a bit more flexible. Like you were telling us to try different ways, so that like I remember just like trying multiple takes, like and you'd be like, okay, now do it this way, do it that way, do a funny one, do one where you're more disappointed, do one more like especially more to Anya, but like to me a little bit as well, you know. I think that was definitely like a good like it shows a good scene when you can kind of like it can go multiple different avenues, so it can be interpreted multiple different ways, you know.
Yeah, especially in the edit. It's like one of my favorite moments with you in the film is like there's that moment where like she's like, how are things, Kenny? And there's just like a long beat before you respond. And like on the day like that there was no long beat. You kind of respond like she said, how are things, Kenny? And you responded immediately. So what I did in the edit was I just like took out like when we got to your coverage, I just took out Anya's line. So it looks like you're just like dazed and confused for like 5 seconds before processing what you just said. It's like, yeah, I'm good. How are you? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That always made me laugh for some reason. But yeah, no, it's like stuff like that. It's fun, especially like I think like one of the main things I was like I was giving you was like you know like you're that state of drunk or high where like your brain cells aren't really functioning properly, so you don't have like you know like your brain's like mostly operating like a river, but like now you're just like it's more like mud and there's like a little drop of water moving past, and that's your conscious thought. That's like what the only thing you can focus on right now is that little thing. You don't know what else is happening. And so I just like said to you like like all the times like what are you thinking? And you just said absolutely nothing, absolutely nothing.
Yeah. I think I definitely was trying to do that, like on the set as well. Like I was trying to almost zone out entirely, even between shots. Like I never really do. Like I don't. Like it always seems a bit. It's always seemed a bit silly to me before when people, do method acting, whatever. Like they stay in character all the time on set. But I think for this one, it just like got to the day, and I was like, because I was just literally trying to put myself in this kind of like hallucinogenic state, like just almost like the character almost didn't even matter that much, like because I think like you looked at the character, I kind of embodied the character anyway, as you were saying. So I think it was more about just reaching the state of like, because Kenny's forgotten who the fuck he is anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like it's just more reaching the state of like the voice, and like almost like I kind of like close my eyes quite a lot, and like just like I'd let like it's a bit disgusting, but like the drool going in my mouth a little bit, and like kind of just like let myself fall into this really like slow state of like just you're barely even like listening to what's going on around you, and I kind of try this like I would like listen to you and talk to you between shots, but I would like try and mostly just get into that state and like keep in that state, so I think I was like trying to maintain that, and I think it came off well because like it is one of my favorite scenes I've acted in, like from like looking back at it. I think the editing really helped as well,
Played at a few film festivals, and like I've talked to the audiences about it, and like I think like they always like say their favorite scene is like that kitchen scene. That they really love Kenny for whatever reason. But yeah, no, it's just like it's interesting how people like watch a film and they have like different like reactions to it. Like for me, like I always like like I see all the flaws, and there's like certain bits I'm like and certain bits I really love. Like I personally love like my favorite part of the film is like the ending in the corridor with Anya. I think like that was really beautifully done, like all cast and crew wise. Yeah, no, it's interesting what people take away. Like,
I think it shows a good film if people are kind of picking different parts and interpreting in different ways. Like it's definitely very fun to play with the different dynamics. And Anya was a great actor to act up as well. She was like she really helped. I think like working with people who are actually like proper actors who like do like because I do it a bit. Do you know what I mean? I've always acted a bit, and I've always like acted my own stuff. Like, but you know, I wouldn't say like I'm like the best actor in the world. Like I think like, but I think whenever I'm around, whenever I'm around other actors who are like very very experienced and very very professional and really know what they're doing, like it makes it way easier to act. Do you know what I mean? Like like you kind of mirror their style a bit, and then like you can kind of bounce off each other, you know.
Yeah.
So I think she was very good to work on in that scene, even though I was like trying to almost
like ignore her, because like I think like yeah, that was the thing I was talking to her about. Like she didn't realize like you weren't looking at her at all during the scene. Because like I explicitly said, like, you know, whenever you're talking to her, don't look at her. Either like always just stare at the fridge, or even if you turn, just like eyes down, or eyelids down, that is. Because I thought, like, you know, he's days out of his mind. He doesn't know who's talking to him, where he is, that type of thing. And I think it plays really well. He's just like out of it, and he's not well. But yeah, like Anya's great. Like you wouldn't know she's from Wexford. You know what I mean?
yeah. We don't hold it against her.
No, like accent wise, I think like that was like a big thing. Like I made sure to get sorted was like I had like yourself and some other people do some like calls with her beforehand just to talk
No,
about.
she was a bit nervous about it beforehand. I remember she was saying she had a call with me about it, but no, she completely nailed it. And I think the thing was as well, like I remember saying they're like, even if you like you don't even have, like don't focus on it so much that you're not acting anymore, because the thing is, like, which obviously she didn't do, but like even if she messes it up, she still sounds Irish. You know, it's like she could still peaceably be someone. There are people from West Belfast who sound like they've spent some time in the south. You know, actually, like a lot of people.
Yeah, because that was like some of the stuff as well. Where like she said I could like pronounce a word how it's, you know, how they actually pronounce it in West Belfast, or I could pronounce it correctly, and more people would understand how I said it correctly. Like what
It's
do you
always
want?
trying to find
That balance, yeah.
balance, isn't it? Because like you can alienate an audience a bit, I think, if you're
Yeah, because you either go like, you know, like proper authentic, or you do fucking Witcher 3 Skellig Isles type thing.
yeah. Because I think as well. See, if I was to do like a proper like, if you could go really harsh West Belfast with Kenny, with also like doing like the you know kind of stumbly speech and stuff right there, it might have been a bit too much for people to understand. Like, but
Yeah, there's like the mumbling and stuff like that.
yeah. Because it's already trying to find that line anyway. Of like articulating properly, but also like, because realistically, like when people are off their faces, like you can barely make them out. But
Yeah, it's tough. Sorry, Sean, I have to address this. Like the listeners don't notice, but like Sean has his own name on the hoodie he's wearing.
no, this is not. This is from Sean's bar.
Oh, okay, Sean's bar. So it's a different Sean.
Athlone.
Athlone.
Is the oldest bar in Ireland.
All right. Well, like there's a lot
But
of
it
old.
does kind of look like it's my own merch, but it's like
Yeah, because like you're like giving us like really profound like, you know, response to the acting, and I was like, does Sean have like a fucking hoodie with his own name on it?
Pastor A is sponsored by
Sean.
Sean's Bar in Athlone. No, it's no. I went to a bar I went to Athlone, and we saw a bar and it said like Sean's on it, on all the bar staff are wearing. They sell these hoodies, and I was like, I need to get one of those.
I was like, I'm Sean as well. I was like, oh, how are you? Really? That's cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like we've never met one before, you know.
Never heard that joke ever, you know.
Yeah. But yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I think we already addressed number 4 is how did you approach the character of Kenny, and were there any challenges?
Were there any challenges? I don't think so. I can't think of any challenges off the top of my head. I think I found it quite easy. I found it easier than I was expecting to. Just because I think you guys all made it quite easy, you know. Like I think the script was good, and the direct like I think you were a very natural director. Like you were able to kind of like give me the space to try like do my own thing with the character, but also like just keep me on the right line with it as well. You know, like just kind of nudge me at certain points, be like, no, like try a bit more like this, or try a bit more like that. You know,
Aye.
like you're able to kind of nudge it,
Yeah, I think
and
like
I think that's a good direction style. Like you were very specific, which is something I've noticed about you all the time. Like you put like you make sure to give a lot of specific detail, so it's not just like, oh, like you're, you know, a drugged up guy in a house. You're like, no, like you're a guy who's come from a middle class background, then you moved into this house because of it. Like you give a whole backstory. You're like, not only are you an addict, you're a spice addict. You know, like you have like was able to look up certain videos and stuff. I think I was a bit worried. I remember like because I hadn't done as much research as I would have liked into specifically spice. So I was worried I wasn't going to get that across to be like fully authentic. But yeah, I was worried that that wouldn't come across as authentically as I would have wanted it to. But I think it came off fine. I mean, I'm sure there's some, you know,
yeah.
spice expert out there who's going to look at that and be like, you know,
Hang on, no, that's not how I did it. But no, like I said, like the only challenge I faced with you was like we had a call like I think a week or two before the shoot, and you went over the script, and you asked me about the line, was there any blood? And she says hardly any blood, and he's like, shite crack. And then like, and you're like, Des, what does that mean? Like, why does he want to see blood? Like why? Because it's pretty dark. And I was like, in my head, I was like, I don't fucking know. It seems like a stupid thing to say, you know. But like no, like so I had to pull something out of my ass, and like for the life of me, I cannot remember what I said to you. But I broke it down, and you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And like when I wrote it, I was just like, okay, this guy's off his fucking head. He's an idiot. He's like, you know, like he just wants some excitement. Well, he doesn't want excitement. He's not gonna fucking appreciate it. So he just says it for some fucking reason.
mm, yeah, I think he says something about like his life is so boring that he just needs something to happen, you know.
Yeah.
And, like the only exciting parts are like when there's violence.
Yeah. Well, that's partially like, you know, like what's like there is like difficulty with like quitting drugs as well. So a lot of people like when they quit drugs, they're just like bored out of their fucking mind because they're just sober and there's like nothing to do. There's nothing to take the edge off, and like there's nothing to take the stress out of your life. It's just like, you know, like clean and sober, and there's nothing to kill the bad thoughts you get, and there's nothing to make you sleep when you can't go to sleep. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt like it mattered, but it didn't. You know, it's kind of, it's one of those things where like yeah, like it's like how much are you really reading into these lines as well? Like it's um he's clearly off his face. Like I think
Yeah.
that's the main thing.
Yeah, well, it is like interesting like how different people approach the script. Like I write scripts different than like how I approach them as a director, or how you like perform as an actor. Because I remember like, you know, I was doing rehearsals with Anya, and I was giving her like some like really fucking dog shit direction. Stuff that was like borderline unplayable. Like I think originally I wanted her to do that final paragraph in the hallway, like pure monotone for some reason. And like I remember like, you know, I thought, you know, like, you know, like she's having a hard time, so like I'll to help like with the process, I'm gonna like start learning the lines, and like I'll start performing them myself. And every time I started performing the lines, I got like emotional. I was like, oh shit, you can't say this stuff like what she's saying about like the world and stuff like that without like getting ramped up in some degree. So like me asking her to be monotone, just like, you know, it goes against every instinct in my body, let alone hers. So yeah, no, it's
I think it
interesting.
definitely becomes something quite different whenever like it goes from the page to the to like the direction process. Like you maybe have it like a line said in a specific way or something, but then you kind of have to like allow it to kind of become its own thing eventually. You know, um, like it's never gonna be the exact movie you have in your head at the start. It's always gonna change, and it's gonna have its own thing. And I think like especially when you bring actors into it, like they'll add something different, or it'll just become different just because they're different, you know, because they're not carbon copies of whatever you have in your head.
Yeah.
I think like the main thing definitely like I think was like the dynamic, like the backstory and all that there was helpful for getting into the role and like understanding like who the people were, but like I think the main thing, I think now I'm deep in it, right? I think like so Anya's character is obviously there's this kind of running thing throughout the film of like how desensitized she is to stuff, but then she seems she's a bit of like a strange protagonist because she's a bit fucked up mentally. She's not um like a lot of audiences might find it hard to empathize with her. But then I think whenever you bring in like a secondary character, especially someone like who's vulnerable like Kenny, and that's like one of the things about the scene I've obviously said before about how it's like you can read it in multiple ways. Like it's either that she's like being empathetic towards him and like sees him almost she feels bad for even her part in this thing, or she doesn't give a shit. Like it's like so that kind of like dynamic between the two characters, which isn't explicitly said, but it's just something like the audience can kind of interpret for themselves. Like that is almost like a crux of her character. Like it really reflects like Kenny's not the protagonist, so obviously she's the protagonist, but like that scene really reflects on her character and how you see her character. You know? So I think Kenny's almost a bit of like a mirror to that. Is that me really overanalyzing that, or is that like do you think that's can only
Yeah, no, I think like the introduction to Kenny kind of breaks up her ramblings about like how, fucked up the world is, and like because I think like what I liked about Anya's performance was like it felt like the character was kind of putting on a show, that like she was like tougher and like more like cynical than she actually was. You know what I mean? Like it's like she lets on all the stuff doesn't affect her when it actually does, and I think like that can happen to you like easily enough if you just like work a job you hate and there's no like there's no room for social mobility. There's no like you're living in bad circumstances and like like you're surrounded by people who are like toxic and they're not like looking out for you and they're not like pushing you to become a better person. They're if anything they're like pushing you to become a worse person. And so there's like that like mix of just like it's there's only so many ways you could like look at the world and you're surrounded by that type of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
100%. So we are running out of time. So my last question is, what do you hope audiences take away from Showtime?
I hope they like get. I hope they like get some kind of emotion from it, whether it's like finding it like kind of funny, or whether it's like maybe seeing something deeper into it, or just like enjoying the dynamics between the characters. Like I hope they just kind of like when they watch it, they they take something from the interpretation from it. Like they like whatever way they want to see it, and I hope they enjoy the script and the acting, really, to be honest. Like I think when you're watching a short film, you're obviously we probably thought about it a lot more than they would. It's like a lot of people just kind of see things on a very superficial level, just because that's how you watch films a lot of the time. But like a good short film will just at least make you feel some kind of emotion, So I hope they feel some kind of emotion from it, or just enjoy it, really.
Perfect. Well, Seán, I think we're running out of time, so I just wanted to say thanks so much for coming on board. Thanks so much for being in Showtime, and look forward to seeing more of you in the future.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, Des.
Well, that was my interview with Seán. I hope you all enjoyed it. There are more interviews with cast and crew yet to come. There is also a breakdown episode detailing everything regarding the production of the short film, from pre-production to post-production. There will also be a director's commentary episode of the short itself. Stay tuned. Thank you all for listening, and goodbye.